Today, I'm going to be showing you how just one real estate deal can absolutely change your life. We're going to be analyzing a property that has 2 homes sitting on 1 lot, and it's currently bringing in over $3,900 per month in rental income. So jumping right in, I don't want to waste any time. If this is your first time looking at real estate and you're trying to get familiar with how to analyze deals, how to know what a good deal is, and what you should be looking for, we're going to be covering that here in this video. So if this is your first time to the channel, I want to welcome you. Thank you for being here. So first off, we're going to be talking about how to find deals like this and how you can find that one deal that's going to absolutely change your life. It's going to take a little bit of work, but it's well worth it. Your first option is going to be to find properties that are on the multiple listing service. This is the real estate website that all realtors use to post their listings that they have for sale so that other realtors can get access as well as the public. This is going to be your first source to find deals like this, but it is going to be the most competitive. Everybody has access to this, and so there's a lot of people looking at it on a regular basis. Your next option is going to be to look at local sites or other websites that have listings that may not be similar to the MLS. Examples of this could be Craigslist or Zillow. These are going to have listings that could be for sale by owner, or perhaps there's a listing that's not on the MLS that would be on one of these sites. This is also a great resource to find people who are in desperate need of being able to sell their property, or maybe they don't want to list with an agent, or they're in a position where they really need to sell the home, but they just don't know what it's worth or don't know how to get it done. This is the exact point that your negotiating power can come into effect because you have the leg up. If you have a little bit of market knowledge, you can quickly find out what a good deal is and then analyze it further to see if it makes sense to progress, talk to the seller, and then make an offer on that property. One of my other favorite ways to find properties like this is to reach out and network with other individuals in your market. It does absolutely no harm to call around to different realtors or different investors in your market and say, hey, I'm looking for a deal. I'm trying to get familiar with this. If you show some initiative and you show some hustle, they're actually going to be very receptive to that. Now, they want to make sure that you're not wasting their time, so don't do that. Don't go out there wasting their time. But if you do have, the intention to purchase a property, there's absolutely no harm in talking to these people. They're going to help you get set up, and they're going to send you deals that will never hit the market. These are considered off-market deals. They may be wholesaled, or it may be from the seller directly, but they're going to hook you up with these types of deals that you can analyze, and in most cases, they're going to be a little bit better for you. The numbers are going to work a little bit easier, and this is really where you can pick up a lot of built-in equity when buying the property. And now I'm guessing that the next question that you're going to have is, okay, now I found a deal. How do I actually analyze it? What am I looking for? What type of rent numbers do I need to know? What are the expenses going to be? What do I need to figure out to make sure that this is going to work for me? And because of that exact reason, we've actually got a deal here that we're going to analyze. This is a property that recently came up. I've got a client who's looking at it, and it could absolutely change somebody's life if they're able to take down a property like this. We're going to jump in and analyze the deal itself. We're going to talk about the numbers. We're going to talk about the expenses, including the mortgage, the taxes, insurance, and any future repairs that you may have. And we're going to give you a net cash flow amount. So backing up just slightly, before you figure out how to analyze a deal, you really need to make sure that you have a good idea of what you're trying to do with the property. Whether you're trying to house hack it, where you're going to live in part of it and rent out the other part, or if you're just buying it strictly as investment, you need to know what your strategy is so that you can analyze those numbers correctly. If you're going to be living in the property, you're probably going to have a little bit different criteria for the property than if it was just strictly an investment. A good example of this is if you're buying a property, you may really want a garage. Maybe you've got a nice car and you want a garage to park your car in. That's going to be something that's important to you. Whereas if it's an investment property, you might not care about a garage. If the numbers make sense and it makes sense to buy this home and hold it for the next 5, 10, 15 years before selling it, then it doesn't matter if it has a garage or not. You just need to make sure those numbers work. So that's a good example of kind of what to look out for in a situation like this. So let's jump into analyzing this property. I'm going to show you exactly how just one property can absolutely change your life and really set you up for your financial future. We're going to be discussing questions that you might have about down payment, the future resale of the property, what to look out for, what type of numbers you should expect, and a little bit more. So make sure you watch till the end, and let's jump in. All right, so this is the house that my client found. He actually sent it to me, and it's actually a pretty dang good deal at first glance. Now, this is something that's gonna be a little bit unique, and you're gonna find it in some areas it may be more prevalent, and other areas you might never find something like this. So every area is gonna be a little bit different, and looking at a property like this, there's gonna be a little bit of variation on whether or not you would even consider a property like this, because if you're just getting started, this could be a absolute slam dunk deal for you, or if you're just a small time investor, you may really like something like this. But as you get a little bit more experienced and you pick up more and more properties, you're probably going to want to look at bigger deals that bring in more money and are a little bit more conventional. Stuff like this can be a little bit hard to buy and a little bit hard to sell later on. So you might just want to stick with something that's a little bit more standard, you know, an apartment complex or a fourplex that's just 4 doors, and that's it. So this one's going to be a little bit unique, but I think it can make a great deal, and I think it could absolutely change your life if you are able to get into something like this to start, whether you're looking to house hack it or you want to just buy it as an investment property. So we're gonna look at this property here, and it gives us a price of $550,000. Now it's 6 bedrooms, 3 bath, 3,500 square feet, so pretty standard there. But the thing that's interesting here is that you've actually got 2 homes on 1 lot. Now, like I said, this is not standard in our area. There are certain cases where you can find this, but it definitely isn't typical. And I'm pretty sure every single city in my area is not going to let you build something like this today. So these 2 homes, the second home was built a long time ago, and somehow they managed to get away with it. And now the city has kind of just said, well, we kind of have to allow it at this point. But it gets even better. If you read on here in the description, the front house consists of an upstairs unit that is 3 bedroom, 1 bath, and around 1,350 square feet, which rents for $1,600 a month. The basement is also 3 bedroom, 1 bath, and around 1,350 square feet, and rents for $1,400 per month. So they've actually taken that front house and they're renting out as a duplex. Now, I know that your first thought right now is probably, well, is that legal? Can they do that? There's already 2 homes on this property. What's going on? And yeah, it's going to be one of those gray areas where the city probably doesn't want you doing that. They would never really approve that for you. At least it's very unlikely, but it's been used like this for a long time. So there's a pretty good chance that you could get away with it and not have any issues. Again, when it comes to properties like this, I've always looked at it as, hey, this could be a fantastic opportunity if you're gonna rent it out this way, and if you can make sense of the numbers. So right off the bat, you've got the upstairs renting for $1,600 a month and the basement for $1,400 per month. That's already over $3,000 a month in rental income. So like I said, it's going to be a little gray area about whether or not that's allowed, and there's going to be some intricacies there that you're going to need to take into note. But if you're willing to kind of take on some of that risk, it could be a really good deal for you. Now, moving on to the rear property, the rear house is a full and open floor plan consisting of around 800 square feet. It has a long-term tenant that is paying $900 per month. The property brings in $3,900 a month and is located close to the downtown area. So this is a great property. You've got 3 rentable units on 1 lot. This is totally unique here. And I mean, scrolling through these pictures, you can see that they've just remodeled it. They've got new doors, new carpet, new paint, new trim. A lot of this has been updated, and it makes for great rental units here. So you've got a house in the back and you've got a house in the front, which is being rented as 2 separate units. Assuming that this is something that you would be interested in, let's jump into this a little bit further and actually analyze the numbers. Okay guys, we're gonna come over to our trusty mortgage calculator here that we found on Google. We're going to be looking at this particular property as if we were going to house hack it. This is absolutely the best way to get started with real estate, and I think it's probably the most common situation that a lot of us are in. We're looking at this property, trying to figure out how can I move into this home, get started investing in real estate, and find a place that I can get into with a low down payment and still get great numbers. This is going to be the type of property that you want to find. So we're going to analyze it like that and break it down based on what we're using here. So we're going to use a home value of $550,000, which is what the home cost. We've got a down payment amount of 5%, which is a 5% conventional loan, just your typical loan there. And we're going to assume an interest rate of 4.5%. Now, I don't know what rates are for a conventional loan like this in this range, and it's going to vary based on your financial profile. So there's a lot of factors there that we're not taking into account. So we're just going to assume 4.5% for this particular loan. I think you're probably going to be a little bit lower anyway, but I do want to be on the safe side because when you're doing this, you want to make sure that the numbers are working in your favor so that worst case scenario, you're still going to be okay. So coming down here, interest rate 4.5%, 30-year loan, start date of the loan is March of 2020. Property taxes on this property are going to be somewhere probably about $3,200 per year. And that number is going to be pretty accurate for this area. Taxes in this area are going to be a little bit lower on average, but remember we've got 2 homes here on this one property, so the county's probably going to assess it at a slightly higher rate. So property tax of $3,200 per year, which is still very reasonable for our area. We're going to assume a PMI of 0.5%. Again, a little bit of variation there based on your financial profile, how much you're putting down, how those numbers fluctuate. So we're just assuming this here. It's going to give us a rough estimate of about $217 for those PMI payments, which I think is probably pretty accurate. Home insurance, you're going to be a little bit more than $1,000. Again, you've got 2 houses on this property, so it's going to be a little bit higher. We're going to put $1,300 a year on here for the home insurance. So we're going to come here, we're going to calculate this, and it's going to throw up some numbers here for us. Your payment is going to be $3,240 on this property. So we've got a payment of $3,240 a month. Now, that being said, you're paying $217 in PMI, and this isn't taking into account that you are going to lose a little bit of rental income because you're living in one of the units. So jumping back here to our notes, we know that this rental income is broken down from $1,600 for the top unit, we've got $1,400 for the bottom, and we've got $900 for the back house. We're going to assume in this instance that you're going to move into the back house. It's producing the least amount of rent and it's perfect size for you in this scenario. So you're going to move into the back of the house and take over that. Now that means that your rental income is dropping to $3,000 per month. You still have a payment of $3,240. So if you're following these numbers correctly, that means that you're living for just $240 per month. The front unit is paying for itself, and now you've got an income producing asset that's generating net worth for you every single month, and you don't have a housing expense. You get to live there for free. So this is absolutely awesome, guys. You're making payments of $3,240 and you're paying down your loan probably about $1,000 per month every single month. If we pull up this amortization here, you can see that in the year 2020, since we're still at the beginning, we're going to use this, you're going to pay down the principal over $7,000 from now until the end of the year. So your net worth goes up $7,000 by the end of the year, and you're living for free. And the beautiful thing is that once you're ready to move out of this house, you want to find another property, you want to repeat this process, or just move on from it, you can rent out that back unit again. You're now producing $3,900 per month in rental income, and rents will probably go up by the time you do that, so it could even be $4,000 or more, and your payment remains the same. You're still paying that $3,200 per month, so now you've got $800 a month in net cash flow. You are going to have some repairs, but we're going to assume that for the next couple of years, we won't have any major repairs on this property because it's just been remodeled. So moving on from this property, only putting in roughly $27,000 as a down payment is phenomenal when it comes to being able to get into a house for a small down payment and live for free, and then have an income producing asset that's going to pay you roughly $800 per month after you move out of it. Guys, this is the way that you need to get started with real estate. If you haven't already invested in real estate, I'd highly recommend looking at properties just like this. It's going to take some work, it's going to take some time, and it's going to be competitive. So you have to know what you're looking for, you have to get out there and network, and you have to really be prepared to pull the trigger when a house like this comes up. I'm going to keep you guys up to date on how this home progresses. We'll see if we put in an offer. Who knows where this property will go, but I'm going to keep you guys up to date. I hope this information was helpful for you. If you did like it, give me a thumbs up here on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. Click that button down below and that bell so you get notified when I release new videos just like this. And drop a comment. What questions do you have about house hacking a place like this? What questions do you have about buying investment property like this? I know there's some things I left out here, and of course there's going to be some variables here with vacancy and repairs, but I just want to give you a rough idea of how to run numbers on a house just like this, and how just this one property can absolutely set you up for the rest of your life. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you in the next one.